Hello, terrific test takers. We are gearing up for your Unit 4 math test. We're going to do a problem on the study guide together. So if you don't already have your study guide, pause the video to go get it. If you're doing your study guide on Seesaw, make sure you take really careful notes so that you could take a clear picture of them or copy it down into Seesaw. I love this problem number 4 because it is a definition of a multi-step problem. It has multiple steps, and it's going to be really important that you RTQ. Do you know what that stands for? Read the question. Let's start together. Number 4, follow as I read. Andy, Danny, and Mark spent the evening at a carnival. Andy won 75 prize tickets, and Danny won twice as many tickets as Andy. Mark won twice as many prize tickets as Andy and Danny combined. How many tickets did Mark win? So underline your question. How many tickets did Mark win? And we see we're asked for an estimate, number model, answer, and is our answer reasonable? I actually most start with the estimate. I like to start with finding my exact answer, and then I go back and do my estimate. It doesn't matter what order you do them in, but personally, I find that works better for me. So I know I need to find how many tickets Mark won. Before I can find that, I'm going to need to know how many Danny won, right? Because if Mark won twice as many prize tickets as Andy and Danny, first I need to know Danny. So my first number model is going to be Danny's tickets. So I'll call that D for Danny equals, and let's see, Andy won 75 prize tickets. Danny won twice as many tickets as Andy. So do you know what problem you would set up? Right, 75 times 2. Okay, and now you could do that traditional multiplication or partial products. I'm going to break it up. I can think of 75 like if I had 75 cents almost, right? And if you had, that would mean 50 cents and another quarter. And if I had that twice, I have a full dollar, 50 or say 150. So that's how I got it, that I got Danny has 150 tickets. And again, you could solve that out a different way if you can't do that math mentally in your head. We could write it vertically and solve it out like that too. Okay, so now we figured out Danny. Now I have to read really carefully. Mark won twice as many prizes as Andy and Danny combined. So to get Andy and Danny combined, I'm going to say, well, Danny was 150 tickets, plus Andy got 75 equals question mark, right? And then I'm going to go solve that off to the side. 150 plus 75 more. Again, maybe you could do this in your head, or you might want to write out to get 225. And my final step, though, I'm not done because I combined Andy and Danny, but look, Mark won twice as many as that. So I have to take now this 225 and multiply that by 2. And that's finally going to give me Mark's total tickets. So let me write that off to the side. I want you to solve it and play back when you know the answer. Okay, so maybe you did this in your head and you already saw that it was 450. Or if we want to do traditional multiplication, we do 2 times 5 is 10, 0, regroup the 1, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5, 2 times 2 is 4, and we finally get Mark's tickets, which were 450. Do you notice what's missing? Is it 450 Christmas trees? No, 450 tickets. Okay, so I have my official answer. Let's go back and do the estimate. Now again, the estimate's going to follow the same steps, just working with friendlier numbers. So maybe initially, remember how I did 75 times 2 as my first step to find out how many tickets Danny had? Maybe instead of 75, I'm going to do 80 times 2, so I have a nice, easy, extended fact right here. You know what that would be? 160. Okay, perfect. And then I wanted to combine Andy's and Danny. So I did 150 plus 75. Well, instead now I'm going to work with my friendlier numbers. So I just got 160 plus, instead of calling Andy's 75, let's round his to 80, just so it's really easy for me to work with. And then I can think about that. Okay, I'm going to count by tens. 160, 170, and kind of my fingers to see how many tens I had. 170, 180, 190, 200, that was already 40. Oh, plus 40 more is going to be 240. Okay, is 240 a pretty friendly number to work with? Well, all I have to do now is just double it. So sure, I'm fine working with 240 because I know 24 times 2 is going to be 48. 1 0 in my factor, 1 0 in my product. So my estimate was 480 tickets. Now my most important step, think, does my answer make sense? Or in other words, is this answer reasonable? If my estimate was 480 tickets and my actual was 450, yes, those are pretty close together, so I know it makes sense. So you could say for this one, yes, and then your explain is because my answer is close to my estimate.